Hello there guys and welcome to Saturday's live stream. I am JWF1 and we are here for the qualifying session to determine the grid for the Belgian Grand Prix to kick us off. And there's two parts to this live stream. Of course, we've got this part, of course, and then later on at 6 we have the GP2 and GP3 races for the first race, of course, so look out for that. But anyway, we are here at Francorchamps, and if you didn't see what happened last weekend at the Mexican Grand Prix, it was Lewis Hamilton who completely dominated the race to win at Mexico with the two Bud Light Lime Motorsport cars rocking out second and third, Giovinazzi ahead of Grosjean in the end. Alonso crashing out and as a result losing more time to Hamilton in the championship and making things worse. He's also got a qualifying ban as well, so Fernando will not be taking part in this session. Only 21 cars taking part in this qualifying session. And another note as well, 2 out of the 11 teams have brought up upgrades here to Spa. So 2 of the 11 teams have brought upgrades here. So that's that really. And of course, some news that came out as well is that Sergio Perez, after initially signing a season extension with Eldorado, after Bud Light Lime have brought out a buyout clause, Bud Light Lime will be having Perez next season. Perez will be leaving Eldorado at the end of the season, with Eldorado getting Charles Leclerc next season as a result of Etihad Racing loaning him out to his team for next season. So the big question is, who will be replacing Leclerc at Shadow? There's been a lot of names suggested according to IF Rumours. My prediction, I'm going to guess it's probably going to be Pierre Gasly. That's my guess, but who knows really what's going on behind the scenes at Shadow. I don't even know. I'm not saying Gasly because I know. I literally do not know who's going to get that seat. So, as you can see, bright and sunny conditions here for Spa. Hopefully we'll get that a little bit later on. But without further ado, let's get to the qualifying session for the Belgian Grand Prix. Again, apologies for being slightly late because of the F1 qualifying. I honestly thought it was on at 1, but it was on at 2 this weekend, which I find very odd. I honestly don't understand why it's on at 2 this season, to be honest with you. Because I don't think Australia had its time pushed back for qualifying, from what I remember, or any of the other races previously had their qualifying pushed back. It's only the races have been pushed back by 10 minutes, but I didn't think qualifying also got affected, but oh well, as coming out of pit lane now then comes Oliver Rowland. He's the first man out on track. Of course, Alonso is watching on for the pit lane because of his qualifying ban. But as we come down the hill, out on track, comes Oliver Rowland in the Monster Grand Prix car. So he just comes out of Eau Rouge now, then heading down the Camel Straight. Very interested to see what lap times the top class are able to achieve. So that's something we've got to keep an eye on. Carlos Sainz Jr. out on track for Shadow Mercedes. We also have Antonio Giovinazzi in the improving Bud Light Lime Motorsport. Valtteri Bottas out on track as well. And so he's out there in the Eldorado. Brendan Hartley out there for Monster Grand Prix. Also out there we have Kevin Magnussen. Max Verstappen out there as well in the improving Martini car. Finally getting points last time out in Mexico. Pascal Wehrlein out of track, as is Sergio Perez. So as we know now, this will be his final season at Eldorado, as he will be leaving to join Bud Light Lime next season. And the rumours are suggesting he's more likely to be partnering alongside Romain Grosjean. That's what the rumours are suggesting. Unless Bud Light Lime are going to go for a different lineup, who knows really. But as we come around the S's, Van Dorn on track as well. We also have Nico Hülkenberg out on track as well. We also have Daniel Ricciardo and Charles Leclerc, who's been confirmed as an Eldorado driver next season. So making a leap up from Shadow, and he'll be hoping to put on a good performance next season if he can at the Eldorado Racing team. And of course Alonso watching on from the pit lane as a result of his qualifying ban. But Rowland now then coming up towards the bus stop chicane. And let's see what Ollie Rowland is able to do then, as he's about to start his first flying lap coming down the pitch straight, and he starts his lap now then. So heading down towards La Source now then, heading through in towards turn 1 he will go, as using as much outside as possible, coming out of turn 1, heading down the hill towards the support pitch straight, as he will now go flat through the daunting Eau Rouge corner. A lot of people predicting there could be accidents down that corner. There has been in the past, and it wouldn't be surprising me if any of the categories have. If there is, it wouldn't surprise me if there's a crash in any of the categories this weekend up at Eau Rouge, and it just wouldn't surprise me one bit. So up towards Lecombe now. Then comes Ollie Rowland in the monster car, using a lot of curb on the outside before going through the right-hander. Up towards turn 80 will go. And then he'll come up towards the corner with no name, which is turn 9. Coming out of the corner now then, heading towards the infamous turn 9, he'll go on the track. A lot of curb being used on the outside, as he'll now go up towards Pouon. So, or La Pouon, I think the full name of the corner is, as he comes through those double left-handers now then. He'll be coming close towards the end of Sector 2 now then. Roland, of course, setting the benchmark of time for everybody to beat this time around. A lot of curb being used on the outside before approaching the double right-hander now then. Out the corner, through the right-hander he will go. And he will now come up towards coming up towards Blanchimont now then, as you're in the third sector. He's approaching the end of the lap quite soon now then. Apologies for the little drop of frames there. And now up towards the bus stop chicane will go Oliver Roland. Up towards the chicane he goes then, flicking the car in for the left and the right hander. A lot of curb being used on the outside, through the final few corners and down the pit straight. Across the line will come Ollie Roland, and it's a 1:43.394 for Ollie Roland there then. Carlos Sainz Jr. slots to second behind him. Giovinazzi goes fastest with that lap. Here comes Valtteri Bottas now then, as he'll come up towards the bus stop chicane himself. Let's see what the Finn is capable of as he comes out of these final few corners. And Valtteri Bottas is now going to cross the line, and he goes fastest, so Bottas goes to the top of the timing sheets. Hartley crosses the line, goes third in the monster car. Verstappen crosses the line to go fifth, so P5 for Verstappen. Here comes Pascal Wehrlein, cross the line he goes P3 with that lap, as it's then third for Sergio Perez, P9 for Stoffel Vandoorne. Here comes Nico Hulkenberg in the EMR, he goes fastest, so Hulkenberg goes to the top of the timing sheets. As now we look at Daniel Ricciardo, through in towards the bus stop chicane he goes. And let's see what Daniel's able to do. Coming down the pit straight and across the line he goes, and he goes P10 with that lap. Leclerc 13th for him there then, and that's that at the moment in terms of those times. And so at the moment it is currently Hulkenberg fastest with Bottas second, and I believe it is Giovinazzi who rounds out the top three. So that's how the leaderboard currently stands, as we'll see these guys peel back into the pits after their first run, and just under half an hour of the session remaining. And we'll be seeing Roland going back into the pits as he goes down up towards Lecumbe, I should say, through those left-handers he goes. And apologies for the drop of frames again, as he'll now go straight on into pit lane, where his mechanics will be waiting for him. Roland then going into the pits, and his mechanics, of course, waiting for him, as everybody pretty much going to be piling back into the pits. Of course, Alonso a spectator, because of course he has the qualifying ban, so I don't expect Alonso to be coming out this session. So there's Hulkenberg coming at the top with a 1:42.305. Hulkenberg currently fastest at this stage, but we've still got 8 more cars to do runs at the moment. Whether Hulkenberg is able to hold on to that, we will wait and see. Leclerc going around the double right-handers now, then he'll go. And again, I apologise for the drop of frames, which is why you're probably seeing a bit of lag on your screen. So, well, freeze moments on screen, I should say. As now through towards the second part of the Lecumbe, and they'll go straight on towards the pit lane. So, unlike taking the bus stop chicane, they just go straight on and go into the pit lane. Leclerc goes into the pits, and that's that for him, really. And there are his mechanics waiting for him. We wait for another set of cars to go out. Grosjean already doing that. He's going out onto the track. Let's see if we can try and catch him up. There he is. So Grosjean now then coming out on track. Obviously got third place last time out in Mexico, along with his teammate getting second. So a good weekend from Bud Light Lime last weekend in Mexico. They're looking to see if they can continue that this weekend here at Spa. Obviously Grosjean initially won here at Belgium last season, but obviously got demoted to 5th as a result of causing a crash with teammate Antonio Giovinazzi last season. He'll be hoping not to repeat that this season, and hopes to have some pace in the car where he could yet again challenge for a podium. I don't think the Bud Light Lime is there yet for a victory, but who knows really, as through the right hander goes Romain Grosjean. And of course the team will be having Sergio Perez next season, and as mentioned a little earlier, the rumours are suggesting he's probably going to partner alongside Romain Grosjean next season, but we will wait and see what that brings. As they come out of the corner with no name goes Romain Grosjean. And now up towards Pouon we go, through the double left-hander on the track. And Grosjean just preparing to start his next flying lap as he just comes through the right and left-hander. Nico Hulkenberg, the man currently at the top, is back out on track. We also have Esteban Ocon out there as well. Sebastian Vettel out there as well, looking to try and see if he can get some good luck in after the last 2 races. Well, apart from Kota, because he got lucky with the red flag, but races where he's had bad luck this season. And so far, Hulkenberg, his teammate, is beating him in the Drivers' Championship in their little fight for third. They're trying everything they can to get up with the Etiads in the Drivers' Championship, but it seems that so far the Etiads have had the EMR's number, it must be said. Jones out on track, as is Brendan Hartley. Jean-Eric Verne out on track as well. We also have Kimi Raikkonen, Antonio Giovinazzi out there as well. And again, I apologise for the drop of frames. I wish it would stop dropping frames. And also on track we have, is that Kevin Magnussen? I think it's Kevin Magnussen we're looking at there. Lewis Hamilton out there as well. And we also have Scott Dixon out on track as well. Ollie Rowland's back out, and Grosjean has now just started a lap as he comes down the Kemmel Straight. Anybody else on track that's coming out? No, Alonso, of course, just looking on as a spectator. So down the Kemmel Straight then comes Romain Grosjean as he comes up towards Lecombe. And through towards the right and left-hander he will go, using all the curb on the outside. Through the right-hander he goes. And now up towards turn 8 will go Romain Grosjean. And so coming out of the corner as he will now approach the corner with no name, which is turn 9. Out the corner he goes. And now down towards the double left-hander of Pouon. So trying to keep, it's nearly flat, but you have to lift at the beginning of that corner, but it's flat through the second part. Up towards turns 12 and 13, I believe this is. And he now approaches the end of the second sector. Up towards the double right-hander we go. Again, I apologise for the drop of frames. As now through the right-hander we will go. So now we go up towards Blanchimont now then. Getting the car pointed in towards these corners now then, as we'll go up towards the bus stop chicane. And let's see what Grosjean's time is going to be like. Through the bus stop goes the Frenchman as he goes around the final few corners. Down the pit straight and across the line will go Grosjean, and he goes to second with that lap. So at the moment, Grosjean getting himself onto the front row but unable to beat Hulkenberg at the moment. Speaking of Hulkenberg, here he is. Is he going to improve on his current time at the moment as he comes up towards the bus stop? Let's see what Hulkenberg is able to do. A lot of curb being used on the outside round the final few corners, and across the line comes Nico Hulkenberg, and he improves to a 1 minute 42.193. So Hulkenberg improves on his current pole position time. Whether somebody will beat that, we'll wait and see. Esteban Ocon down the pit straight, and let's see what the Frenchman's capable of. He goes 5th with that lap, so P5 for Ocon, as Vettel now goes fastest. So Vettel goes to the top of the timing sheets. He beats his teammate to go pole. Brendan Hartley now then heading down the pit straight, and across the line he goes. He stays 9th. Ed Jones 17th. Jean-Eric Verne, what can he manage? Across the line he goes, 17th only for the Frenchman. Kimi Raikkonen coming out of the bus stop. What's Kimi Raikkonen going to do? And he goes 5th with that lap. 6th still for Antonio Giovinazzi. Don't know if Kimi slightly held him up there. As we now look at Kimi's teammate, Kevin Magnussen, coming out of the final few corners. And K-Mag is going to cross the line and improves to go up to 8th place. Hamilton only 3rd with that lap. So Hamilton P3 at the moment. Whether Magnussen held him up, I don't know. 20th for Scott Dixon there then. So we now look at Ollie Rowland, who's looking to try and improve on his 14th place at the moment. Out of the bus stop, down the pit straight, and across the line he will go. And he goes up to 13th, so an improvement there for the Brit. And that's that. So at the moment, it is currently Vettel at the top with Hulkenberg in second. So at the moment, it is currently an EMR 1-2. So far, the EMR's locking out the front row. Hamilton only managing 3rd on his first lap, but whether he got held up by Magnussen there, we'll have to wait and see. Whether Hamilton's still got more in the tank to pull out, we'll wait and see as this session progresses on. So now through Blanchimont, Hulkenberg will be going back into the pits. Grosjean in front of him has already just gone back in. And we'll have a quick look at what the top 5 currently stands at the moment when Hulkenberg comes in and flicks on the pit limiter. And Hulkenberg now then in his box, and let's see what the top 5 currently looks like at the moment. So it's Vettel fastest, Hulkenberg 2nd, Hamilton 3rd, Grosjean 4th, and Bottas in 5th position. That's what the top 5 currently looks like at the moment in this qualifying session. So coming out on the track will be Carlos Sainz Jr. we're looking at there. I don't know if somebody else is going out before him. Nope. So here comes Sainz then, coming out of pit lane. He'll flick off the pit limiter. as he'll be preparing to start his next flying lap very soon. Out of the pit lane then goes the Spaniard, as he now heads down the hill towards Eau Rouge. And the sparks coming off the back of the car, we'll be seeing that quite a lot going down the hill up towards Eau Rouge, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be the same case for the GP2 and GP3 guys. As coming down the Kemmel Straight now then will go Carlos Sainz, as he will now approach Lecombe. Through the right, then the left, and then into the right again he will go. So getting the car pointed into that corner before approaching turn number 8, and then he'll go up towards the infamous turn 9. And so up towards the corner with no name of turn 9. A lot of curb being used on the outside there then. And that's that really, as he goes through P1. And again, I apologise for the drop of frames, as now Sainz through towards the right and left-hander, approaching the end of sector 2. Of course, he's prepared to start his next flying lap. Ed Jones out on track for Mars Grand Prix. Of course, the team will be having Ferrari engines next season. They'll be ditching Porsche at the end of the season. Pascal Wehrlein out on track. Sergio Perez out there as well. We also have Kimi Raikkonen out on track as well. And we also have Valtteri Bottas out there. Max Verstappen coming out onto the track. Scott Dixon out there as well. And we also have Romain Grosjean out on track. Stoffel Vandoorne is out there as well. We also have Esteban Ocon coming out onto the track. Daniel Ricciardo coming out. And we'll be expecting Verne to also join as well. Alonso, just a reminder, has a qualifying ban, so he's just watching as a spectator really today. He'll be starting in 22nd for tomorrow's Belgian Grand Prix. Is now coming down the hill will go Carlos Sainz Jr. as he goes up through Eau Rouge. And looking to try and improve on what is currently 17th place for the Shadow driver, as he heads down the Kemmel Straight towards the next few corners of Lecombe. And now towards Lecombe will go Sainz, flicking the car in. And now a lot of curb being used on the outside. Through the right-hander he will go, as he will now go up towards turn 8 on the track. So getting the car into that right-hander he will go. And then in towards the corner with no name, which is turn 9. And now in towards Pouhon we will go. And as you can see, so far a smooth lap for Sainz at the moment, as the sparks continue to come off the back of his Shadow. And again, I apologise for the little drop of frames at this stage. So far a tidy lap for Sainz, but is it going to be good enough perhaps to improve on what is currently 17th place for the young Spaniard, as he goes through the right-hander, last season's GP2 runner-up, let's not forget. And so far, the man that beat him to the championship in GP2 last season has had a better season, it must be said. Brendan Hartley, compared to Sainz. Despite the 4th place Sainz got, it seems that Hartley's had a better season. He's had more points finishes than what Sainz has had this season. It's going through the bus stop will go Carlos Sainz Jr. And let's see what Carlos is able to do. Across the line goes the Spaniard, and he improves, but only up to 1 place, which is 16th place. So only a slight improvement for Carlos Sainz Jr. Here comes Jean-Eric Verne through the bus stop. 19 minutes remaining now in the session. Let's see what Jean-Eric Verne can do. In fact, he's starting a lap. I do apologise for that. I didn't realise that. Ed Jones then we'll look at, who's a little bit further back from where Carlos Sainz is at the moment. It seems that the Mars again will be fighting it out for 20th at the moment, with Alonso having the qualifying ban. And you get the impression of whether Mars has really been upgrading enough this season. Who knows really, because they just seem to be going backwards, it seems, every weekend. It just seems there's no signs of them catching up to the rest of the pack throughout season. So there's obviously those questions that bring into frame there. As now up towards the bus stop chicane now then will go Ed Jones. And let's see what Jones is able to do. And he crosses the line and he goes up to 20th. So at the moment out-qualifies teammate Dixon at this stage. Pascal Wehrlein across the line goes the German. He stays 11th, just outside the top 10. P9 for Perez, an improvement for the Mexican, but still not up to the pace of where Bottas is at the moment. Raikkonen goes up to 5th, so pushes his fellow compatriot down to 6th place, well, only briefly, because Bottas has now taken 5th back off Raikkonen there, so gets back into the top 5 until Verstappen comes into play. Verstappen moving up into P5 there, as not an improvement for Grosjean, he stays 4th. 15th, an improvement for Van Dorn, still 21st for Dixon. 9th for Ocon, no improvement for him, still 16th for Daniel Ricciardo, no improvement for him at this stage, as we now look at his teammate, Jean-Eric Verne, as he goes through Blanchimont. I need to stop getting Leclerc and Blanchimont mixed up. I don't know how I'm getting them mixed up. As now coming up towards the bus stop chicane will go Jean-Eric Verne, the current Formula E Championship leader in real life, through towards the final few corners on the track then. Heading down the pit straight and across the line, and he stays in 19th place. No improvement for him there then. As that really, it looks like Sainz has already come into the pits, because we're back viewing with Jones. So all of these guys going back into the pits this time around with just under 17 minutes of the session remaining. Jones just goes through the right-hander now then, and he'll go up towards the bus stop chicane. Well, soon anyway, after he comes out of Blanchimont. And so now he'll go straight on into pit lane. And Jones back into the pits he will go. And so that's that for him really, as he comes into the pits. And his mechanics will be waiting for him now then, as Jones comes into pit lane. As it looks like Lewis Hamilton is getting ready to come back out onto the track to see if he can spoil EMR's party at the moment. And out on the track goes Lewis Hamilton in the Etihad. Of course, at the moment, the EMR is currently 1 and 2 on the grid at the moment, but can Hamilton try it and spoil that, as he just comes out of pit lane and he heads up towards Eau Rouge corner now then. Through he will go as he prepares himself to start his next flying lap. Sparks coming off the back of the Etihad now then, as he goes up towards the right chicane. And let's see what Lewis is able to do now then, as he goes through the section of corners. And so now through the chicane he'll go. And now heading down the hill towards the right-hander he will go. Through turn 8 he'll go, and then up towards the corner with no name, which is turn 9. And now a lot of curb being used on the outside. Up towards P1 he will go, the double left-hander. And so now heading down the hill towards the right-hander. And so Hamilton keeping it tidy and preparing to start his next flying lap very soon. Charles Leclerc out on track, the new Eldorado driver for next season. Kevin Magnussen out on track. Sebastian Vettel out on track as well, the man that's currently on pole. Daniel Ricciardo out there as well. We also have Brendan Hartley, Nico Hulkenberg, Verline, Sainz, Verstappen, Giovinazzi, Bottas. They'll be coming out very soon. As now Hamilton up towards the bus stop chicane he will go, as he now prepares to start his next flying lap in the hopes of beating the EMRs to pole position down the pit straight. And he starts his lap now then. So up towards La Source now then will go Hamilton. And he'll be hoping that piece of traffic that's coming out of the pit lane doesn't impede him as he heads down the support pit straight. Luckily a bit far away for Hamilton, but he'll be hoping he doesn't catch up with it with the car that he's got underneath him. Hamilton, of course, staying with Etihad for the next 2 seasons after signing a 2-season contract extension with Etihad Racing, which will mean that he will be Daniel Ricciardo's teammate next season when he joins the team, replacing Alonso, who's moving to IndyCar. As now through towards Leclerc will go Hamilton. And he'll be hoping that that Martini in front doesn't hold him up. I don't know which Martini it is. It looks like Ocon. I think it looked like a pink helmet from what I saw there. So through the right-hander will go Hamilton as he goes through turn 9. No, it's Verstappen. I do apologise. It's a red helmet, so it's Verstappen that's in front of Hamilton at the moment. Through the corner with no name, as they will now go up towards P1 now then. Around the left-hander he will go. And let's see what Hamilton's lap is going to curtail, as it will soon be coming up towards the end of Sector 2. Dipping down the gears as best as possible, as a lot of curb being used on the outside. Up towards the double right-hander will go Hamilton, as he'll now glide himself through that second part there, as he'll now come up towards Blanchimont. This is going to be an improvement for Lewis Hamilton. Let's see, through Blanchimont, and now through the second part of Blanchimont he'll go before approaching the bus stop chicane. Is this season Lewis's season? We will see. Through the bus stop then goes Lewis Hamilton. Luckily that Martini did not hold him up, but is this going to be enough to get him in front of Vettel? Across the line comes Lewis Hamilton, and it is. Hamilton goes fastest at the moment. Hamilton beats Vettel off the top, and Hamilton now currently on pole position at this stage. Bottas prepared to start a lap as we now look at Leclerc, who seems to be improving on his personal best in the second sector there. So let's see if he's able to keep it up in the last sector now then, as he comes up towards Blanchimont. As we're 2 minutes away now from the 3:30 mark, as we now have just over 12 minutes of the session remaining. Of course, it did start a little bit later because of the Formula 1 qualifying session, which I wasn't aware it started at 2. I will now know that for future reference, I should say. As now going through towards the bus stop we go. Leclerc now then, across the line he'll go, and he goes up to 15th, so an improvement for the Monegasque driver as Verline behind starts a lap. Here comes Kevin Magnussen in the Suomi through the final few corners, and across the line will go the Dane. And is this an improvement? It is, but he stays P11 for the moment, so still outside the top 10. Vettel, can he try and beat Hamilton back off the top of the timing sheets? Around the final few corners and across the line comes Sebastian Vettel, and he improves, but he stays in second place, unable to beat Hamilton that time around, so he stays where he is at the moment, which is P2. So that's that. Ricciardo still 17th, but improves on his best time. 13th for Hartley. 3rd still for Nico Hülkenberg with that lap. So no improvement for Vettel's teammate there. As now we look at Sainz going through the bus stop. And let's see what Carlos is able to do then. Round the final few corners, heading down the pit straight, and across the line will go Carlos Sainz Jr. And he goes up to 17th place. A slight improvement there for the Spaniard, as it's still 14th for Ollie Rowland, and still 8th for Antonio Giovinazzi. So he's not up there at the moment. Verstappen stays 5th, no improvement. So far he's doing a good job in qualifying, it must be said. But here comes Valtteri Bottas now then. Let's see, he's currently 6th. At this stage, as he comes through the second part of Blanchimont, up towards the bus stop chicane he'll go, using quite a bit of curb on the outside, down at the pit straight. And can Bottas improve on his best time? And no, he can't. He stays 6th with that lap there then, so still 6th for Valtteri Bottas. So now we'll look at Pascal Wehrlein, his all lap. Luckily for him, Leclerc in front didn't hold him up. Into the bus stop we go, and let's see what Pascal Wehrlein is able to achieve. Coming around the final few corners and across the line will go the German, and he stays in 12th place. No improvement for Wehrlein, and that's that for him really. And nobody else appears to do a lap this time around. So at the moment it is Hamilton top, Vettel second, Hülkenberg in 3rd position with I believe it's Grosjean 4th, and Verstappen rounding out the top 5 surprisingly. So that's that really. It's now through towards the left-hander goes Giovinazzi as he goes through the double right-hander now on the track, as he goes through the second part there then, as we go up towards Lecumbe. And so now through he will go, and through the second part he'll go as the sparks continue to come off the back of his car now then, up towards the bus stop, and he goes into the pits as we have just under 10 minutes now of the session remaining. And we've just passed the 3:30 mark now then, and the rest of the coverage of this continuing at 6 PM due to me moving location for a little bit, transferring all my equipment there. Just saying, but Van Dorn has come out onto the track, currently 16th at the moment, still being outpaced it seems this season by Pascal Wehrlein, even though the championship standings tell another story. It seems that so far this season Pascal's had his number, but hasn't been able to transfer it into points recently. Van Dorn still in front of Wehrlein in the Drivers' Championship, it must be said, tied on the same number of points as what Carlos Sainz Jr. is, but Van Dorn in front because of the podium that he was gifted after the Martinis had their results stripped from the first 4 races, so that's why he's in front of Sainz in the Drivers' Championship. So Van Dorn now then, through the left-hander he will go, as he will now come up towards the bus stop chicane to start his next flying lap. Through he will go in towards the final few corners, and Van Dorn now starting his lap. Kimi Räikkönen has just come out onto the track. Verne coming out. I wonder if Van Dorn will actually come up to a bit of traffic. I wonder. Jones, Perez, Grosjean, Dixon now then, and we'll be expecting Ocon, Hamilton, Magnussen, Leclerc and Vettel to be coming out quite soon. Where is Grosjean on the track? There he is, as he just comes down the Kemmel Straight, and he'll now approach Lacombe. So Grosjean now then. So that's Grosjean. Sorry, where's Van Dorn? There's Van Dorn. We're looking at Van Dorn. Sorry, as he goes up through Lacombe and out of the first sector. Now then he'll go and looking to see if he can improve on his 16th place at this stage now then, as he will go up towards turn 8 on the track before approaching the corner with no name, which is turn 9. Out of the corner he goes, through towards turn 9 goes the Belgian. And of course this is his home Grand Prix as well. Let's not forget Stoffel Van Dorn's home Grand Prix being here at Spa. And of course you could say it's also kind of a home Grand Prix for Max Verstappen as well, considering he grew up in Belgium as well. Even though he is Dutch, but he does live in Belgium. He even grew up not far from this circuit as well. So for Verstappen at least this is kind of a home Grand Prix for him, considering there is no Dutch Grand Prix on the IFMC calendar. So Van Dorn now then through the right-hander he goes, and so far I must say Verstappen doing a good job in front of his fans here this weekend, as Van Dorn now then goes up towards Blanchimont, and now through he will go, as he will now go up towards the bus stop chicane. Let's see what Van Dorn's able to do on this lap now then. Is this going to be improving as the fans cheer him on through the final few corners and heading down the pit straight, and Stoffel Van Dorn, let's see what he's able to do, and he goes up to 14th, so only a slight improvement for Van Dorn there then, as Dixon starts his lap. Magnussen also starting one as well, as will Ocon and Leclerc and Vettel and Hamilton and Hulkenberg. So we have to rewind all our way back so we can get to Kimi Räikkönen, who's a long way behind Van Dorn at the moment. Van Dorn doing a lap was way ahead of him, has already just completed a lap. Here comes Räikkönen through in towards P1 now, then we go, as we have just over 6 minutes of the session remaining, as now up towards the end of the second sector will go Kimi Räikkönen, and now through he will go before approaching the double right-hander, as he's just come out of sector 2 now then into the final sector of the course. Then goes Kimi Räikkönen as he flips the car in through the right-hander up towards Blanchimont. Now then will go the Finn, and so now up towards the left-hander goes the Iceman Kimi Räikkönen. Up towards the bus stop he will go, and let's see if Kimi is looking at an improvement now then. Round the bus stop, up towards the final few corners, and across the line comes Kimi Räikkönen. Is this going to be an improvement for Räikkönen? And it isn't. He stays 7th with that lap there then, as now we look at Jean-Eric Vergne coming around Blanchimont. Stop saying Lacombe. Vergne now then coming around the bus stop chicane. And let's see what Jean-Eric Vergne is able to achieve as he comes across the line and stays 19th for that lap, as Perez slightly improves but still in the cusp of the top 10. Staying 20th will be Ed Jones on that lap. Romain Grosjean, what can he manage? Is this going to be an improvement for the Frenchman across the line? And it isn't. He stays 4th with that lap there then, so that's that for him. Scott Dixon, can he beat teammate Ed Jones to get up to 20th? Across the line goes the Kiwi, and he improves but stays in 21st, unable to beat Jones at the moment in his session. Kevin Magnussen round the bus stop chicane and across the line he will go, and he goes up to 10th. So Magnussen getting himself into the top 10 pushes Perez down to 11th as an improvement for Ocon, but he stays in 9th place at the moment. Martini showing improvements, especially around here. Now they're both cars are in the top 10 at the moment. Here comes Charles Leclerc, and he goes up into 13th place, so an improvement there for the Monegasque driver. Vettel doesn't improve, stays 2nd for the moment in this session, as Hamilton meantime doesn't improve, stays on 1 minute 41.949 in qualifying at the moment. Here comes Nico Hulkenberg. Can he try and get his car onto the front row? Hulkenberg crossing the line, and no he can't, stays in 3rd on his final flying lap there then. So yet again Vettel out qualifying him this season, and so that's that for him really. It's coming out on track now then will go Antonio Giovinazzi, and obviously flicked off the pit limiter as Giovinazzi now then will come up towards the daunting Eau Rouge corner, and we have a few minutes left in the session, just under 4 minutes now left in this qualifying session to determine the grid for tomorrow's Belgian Grand Prix, as now Giovinazzi will come up towards Lacombe. Again, I apologise for the drop of frames. So now through towards Lacombe will go Giovinazzi as he goes around the right-hander now then up towards the next section of corners on the track, and now through turn 8 before approaching the corner with no name, which is turn 9, as Giovinazzi prepares to start his next flying lap, looking to see if he can improve upon P8 at the moment in this session, as Giovinazzi goes around Pouon, as now he'll head up towards the right and left-hander on the track, and now through he will go, and using the curb on the outside before approaching the double right-hander he will go, and now through the right-hander then, as he heads up towards Blanchimont, and we'll be expecting a few more to come out quite soon, but they're just waiting around for a little bit in the pit lane, as Giovinazzi through the second part he goes, and he'll now go up towards the bus stop chicane before starting his final flying lap, as he won't have enough time left to do another one straight after he does his flying lap down the pit straight, and Giovinazzi starts his flying lap. As now up towards La Source, there's a few cars in the background are about to come out onto the track. Luckily for Giovinazzi, and they're not going to hold him up. So Giovinazzi is going to get a clear run out. As now he heads up towards the daunting Eau Rouge corner. Around he will go. As now Giovinazzi comes down the Kemmel Straight up towards Lacombe. And Giovinazzi looking to improve on 8th place at the moment. His teammate up in the top 4 at the moment, so he's getting himself close into the top 3 at the moment. Gio looking to try and see if he can try and match him in this qualifying session as he comes up towards turn 8 on the track. Through turn 8 then will go the Italian, as now he uses quite a bit of curb on the outside up towards the corner with no name, which is turn 9, heading down the hill before approaching Pouon. And Giovinazzi, let's see what Gio's capable of. Through Pouon he goes as the sparks continue to come off the back of his car now then, as he will now come up towards the right and left-hander now then, and now through the right and then through the left, heading up towards the double right-hander he will go, and now the curb being used on the outside there then, as he now goes up the hill towards Blanchimont. And so now through he will go then through the through Blanchimont, and then he will go up towards the bus stop chicane. And let's see what Gio is able to do now then, coming out the corner, heading through the final few corners, and Giovinazzi is now going to cross the line. Let's see what the Italian is able to do, and he goes up to 4, so a big improvement for Giovinazzi, gets up into the top 4 and even outpaces teammate Grosjean in the process. So the guys behind are just about to start laps behind him at the moment with 36 seconds remaining. Will all of them actually get around in time? In fact, I don't think Grosjean at the moment, looking at it, will have enough time to get around. Same with Perez, and even the same with Verne. Hartley is out on track doing a lap, so looks like half of them are about to do a lap. Others are just going to miss out by a few seconds. So here comes Hartley now, then through turn 8 and then up towards the corner with no name, turn 9. Meantime, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Checkered flag is out, and that is the end of this qualifying session. And some guys didn't make it. Those include Verne, Perez, and did Grosjean just cross the line to do a lap in time? No, he didn't. He's on a slow down lap. He just missed out. So everybody in front of Grosjean was just able to have enough time to do one more flying lap now then. So Hartley, as he comes around Blanchimont now then, can he improve now then as he goes through that second part of Blanchimont before approaching the bus stop chicane now then? Up towards the bus stop he goes. Through the left and the right, and then up towards the final few corners will go Brendan Hartley. Down the pit straight and across the line goes the Kiwi. And he doesn't improve, stays 14th with that lap. Giovinazzi going back into pit lane. Valtteri Bottas currently 7th. Can he try and get his car into the top 5 through the bus stop? And then around the final few corners and across the line will come Valtteri Bottas. And let's see, and he doesn't improve, stays 7th with that lap as Verstappen didn't improve because Ricciardo looked to have held him up there. Both of them not improving as a result. As now we look at Pascal Wehrlein crossing the line, stays 12th but improves on his best time. Roland crosses the line, stays 16th, still 15th for Van Dorn, so no improvement there for him. Carlos Sainz Jr. currently 17th. Can he try and get up to the pace of teammate Charles Leclerc? And no, he stays 17th with that lap there then. Ed Jones coming around the bus stop chicane. Let's see what he's capable of. Down the pit straight and across the line goes the Amaretti's driver and improves, but stays in 20th. And there you have it then. So, yet again this season, for the second race in a row, it is Lewis Hamilton who's on pole position for tomorrow's Belgian Grand Prix, but not by much. A very close time between himself and Vettel, only separated by 0.05 of a second. Very close between the two rivals in real life. And, well, in IFMC terms, they're not rivals, but still very close in qualifying between the two men who currently are in the top 2 in terms of pole positions in the whole of IFMC. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here is the grid for tomorrow's Belgian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton is on pole position with Sebastian Vettel in 2nd. Nico Hülkenberg is in 3rd with Antonio Giovinazzi 4th. Romain Grosjean in 5th. Max Verstappen an impressive 6th in the Martini. Valtteri Bottas 7th. Kimi Räikkönen in 8th. Esteban Ocon 9th. Both Martinis in the top 10, showing they are improving every race by race. Magnussen in 10th. Perez in 11th. Pascal Wehrlein in 12th, with Charles Leclerc 13th and Brendan Hartley in 14th. And if we scroll down the rest of the field, it is Stoffel Van Dorn 15th, Oliver Rowland in 16th, with Carlos Sainz Jr. 17th, Daniel Ricciardo a disappointing 18th, Jean-Eric Vergne a disappointing 19th, with Ed Jones in 20th, Scott Dixon in 21st, and due to his qualifying ban, Fernando Alonso is in 22nd and last. So there you have it then, guys. That is the grid for tomorrow's Belgian Grand Prix. Hopefully it's looking to be a very exciting race, especially with Alonso at the back. We should expect a fight back from Alonso during the race, but it should be a good race nonetheless, considering how close Vettel and Hamilton were in this qualifying session. But guys, that's been it for the qualifying session for the Belgian Grand Prix, and we're now going to be taking around a 3-hour break, a 3.5-hour break, because I've got to move location. But join us back at 6 PM BST for the feature race for IFMC GP2 and then race 1 of IFMC GP3. But for now, guys, that has been it. I hope you enjoyed it, so thank you very much for watching. I've been JWF1, and I'll see you guys at 6 PM BST for GP2 and GP3, the first races of their championship for this weekend. Until then, take care and see you at 6 PM.